Welcome, everybody. It's Diana. Today, I want to speak about hearing the voice of God. So, how can you hear the voice of God better? I want to speak about something that you may not have really thought about. When we say that prophets are the mouthpiece of God, we are saying that they are the voice of God. There is a passage that's saying that there is a voice crying out in the wilderness, right? It's speaking about John the Baptist. So, John the Baptist was the voice that was calling out in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord. So he was the voice, but the word was Jesus. The word was God, but he was the voice. So if you want to hear the voice, you need to hear a prophet. You are the best prophet of your life. Let me say it that way, because you can prophesy the best over your life. You know what you are going through. You know the situations of your life. So whenever you are prophesying over yourself, you are prophesying with the mouth of God, with his voice. You are the voice. But also, there are prophets in the office. There is the office of the prophet. And when God speaks, he's using the prophets. It does not mean that he's not using the apostles, the teachers, and so on. But the mouthpiece of God, who is that? The prophets. And they are the voice of God. So when you want to hear the voice of God and you are in a position where you are learning to hear from God, you need to be teachable and to receive what God is saying through the prophets. How are you hearing the voice of God? Very often, God comes to you and speaks to you even in dreams and takes on the form of those prophets, of a prophet that you are under. So you need to be under a pastor, under a prophet, under an apostle. If you have a spiritual father or a spiritual mother, then you are under them. Their anointing, their power from God, and their calling is protecting you because you are under their leadership. Let me read to you a Bible passage to explain it better to you. 1 Samuel chapter 3, verses 4 to 10. That the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou callest me. And he said, I called not. Lie down again. And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. Verse 7. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time. And he rose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. So Eli was the key to unlock Samuel as a prophet, because Samuel was hearing the Lord. But how? With what voice? It was the voice of Eli. That's why he believed that it was Eli calling him. It was a voice, but it was the voice of Eli. But who was calling him? It was the Lord. So when God calls you, very often he's going to use your spiritual father or spiritual mother. He's going to use the leadership that you are under. And if you are not under any leadership, you may be confused about the voice of God, because the voice of God is the prophet of God. So you need to grow into hearing the voice of God, into discerning that it's him. but God may reveal himself to you, and very often he's using the voice that you are under, the leadership that you are under. So if you want to be unlocked more and more into hearing the voice of God, you need to be teachable. You need to be under authority. Remember that the centurion was a man under authority. So when Jesus marveled at his faith, it was when this man was under authority. So he understood how the kingdom works. When you are under authority, you are protected. The Lord can speak to you. He can teach you. There is also the anointing that teaches you, but that's specific to you. It does not mean that you do not need the fivefold ministry. You need to be teachable and to receive. You need to be under authority. And then you will be able to grow in hearing the voice of God. But if you are constantly saying, well, I don't know about what you are teaching. I don't know about what you are saying. I hear the voice of God for myself. I don't need nobody to teach me because the Lord has his unique way of speaking to me. That's pride. And because you have pride in your heart, you are failing at hearing God, at hearing God's voice, because you think that you have your unique way, how God speaks to you, and you can contradict everybody. You can contradict teachers, preachers, pastors. You are sitting there in the church and you are judging the people of God that he has called, that he has anointed. And you think that you do not need a spiritual father. You think that you can be on your own, solo with Jesus. Nobody needs to teach you because you can hear the voice of God. And you are judging the people of God that he has called and anointed. You may not agree with everything that they are saying, but be respectful. You may say, well, Lord, I do not know if that's true. I do not know how to receive it. It's difficult for me to receive this teaching, but help me to receive the truth. Be in a posture of humility. How is it that a lot of people are sitting in churches and are judging? It's like, I'm accepting this. I'm not accepting this. I'm picking this. I'm not picking this. It's like you choose and leave what you want. But this is not how it's working. You need to be led by God to a prophet, an apostle, a pastor. Because they can pastor you, they can shepherd you. You need to be able to receive. And when you are a man under authority, then you will be able to hear God's voice better and better. Very often, people cannot hear the voice of God because they are judgmental and they are not teachable. It's as easy as that. You are not humbling yourself. So you may feel pricked in your heart right now. And if it is so, then you may need to accept the words that I am speaking, because God is speaking to you, because he wants you to grow in hearing the voice of God. But you cannot hear the voice of God better if you are not letting yourself be led, if you are not teachable, if you are not accepting leadership. Not everybody that is in a leadership is called by God, all right? There are pastors who call themselves to be pastors, or prophets who called themselves to be prophets. But you need to let yourself be led by God and to be put under authority. And when you are under authority, God can speak to you more and more, because from them or through them, the Lord releases the information that you need. And he's feeding you through them. And because he's feeding you through them, you are beginning to grow and you are beginning to hear the voice of God better and better. So what is it that you need to do? You need to be under authority. You need to be under leadership. Let the Lord lead you to a ministry and then plant yourself there. Then the Lord will be able to start speaking to you. You will discern the voice of God better. That's how you receive. Even in marriage, there is a structure. In church, we have a structure. You are not on your own. You are not a solo. You are not just there and the Lord speaks to you and you are like apart from the crowd. You need to be integrated in God's structure. I know that the enemy is fighting hard against this, but whatever the enemy is fighting hard against, it means that that is the thing that is bringing results. That is a powerful thing, because if he fights something, then it means that it's powerful. And the structure is always powerful. The structure set by God. Everything needs to be in place. And then you have clarity. You have clarity in discerning the voice of God. Even when it comes to Adam and Eve, remember that Eve was the first to eat the fruit, but her eyes did not open. Why? Because there was structure. And unless Adam ate the fruit, their eyes were not going to open. So after Adam ate the fruit, then the eyes of both of them were opened, because Adam was the key to unlock Eve, to unlock the sight of Eve, even if it was not a good thing. Because in God's structure, Adam was over Eve to protect her. Eve's eyes could not be unlocked until Adam ate. So you need to be under authority. When you are placing yourself under leadership and you are letting God to speak to you, then you are protected. And automatically your eyes will open to the ways of God. Your ears will open to the voice of God. Why? Because it's structure. And God is a God of structure and of order. There are people assigned by God that unlock you in your destiny and in your calling. God has put something on the inside of you, but it's them that activate that something. There is something on the inside of you, and it was given by God, but who activates it? For Samuel, it was Eli. Who is it for you? Whom is God using to talk to you? There are specific things in your life that are dormant because you are not under authority. You are not under leadership. And the enemy knows how to fight you in this, because he will make you fight your leaders. He will make you fight the people that are supposed to activate you. It makes sense, right? If somebody has the key to unlock me, it means that the enemy will put thoughts in my heart to fight them, to be against them, to contradict them. The enemy will put in my heart thoughts to go against them. But why? If I feel that God has pulled me close and he has called me to a certain ministry, why is it that there are thoughts in my mind that constantly contradict them? Why am I not able to receive? I feel like God is calling me to that ministry, but I'm constantly finding myself that I'm fighting them in my mind, in my heart. Why? Because they have the key to unlock you. So be aware of what thoughts the enemy is putting into your mind, into your heart. So let me finish by saying this. If you want to hear the voice of God, be humble and be a man or a woman under authority. Let yourself be led by the Lord by placing yourself under godly authority, under godly leadership. God will unlock your hearing. God will unlock your speaking. God will unlock you and send you out to fulfill your mission. But this is only going to happen if you're placing yourself under authority. You will be able to hear from God better and better, and you will graduate. But this will happen only if you are placing yourself within the structure of God. I hope that this teaching has helped you. Let me know in the comment section below what has spoken to you, what you have learned. If you want to give to God, the link is in the description box below. Share this teaching with a lot of people. Many blessings. Love you guys, and talk to you soon.